Welcome back everybody to the weekend show where I'll be doing technical analysis on stock market. So before we get started, please hit that like button and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now if you want to go above and beyond, support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading and all kinds of setups, definitely check out the link down in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into the market. Dow was up 0.5% on Friday despite going up. Nasdaq gave back and down 0.28%. S&P absolutely flat and Russell going up 0.74%. 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500 on top. You can see it's a risk-off move on Friday going into the weekend. Healthcare utilities led the way on top, financial energy, and then we got consumer cyclical, communication services, consumer defensive, and technology lagging behind. Stock market map. What do we have here on stock market map? Well, Microsoft flat, Nvidia slightly down, Apple flat, Amazon down 1.30%, Google absolutely flat, Meta down 2.27%, and Tesla also going down 1.42%. And now let's get right into S&P 500. Here on S&P 500, you can see we got up to 672, almost 673. That was a well target. We got there and then backed off, and you can see it's actually closing right on top of this previous candle right here. You can see this big candle, 669. So we'll see how that plays out going into Monday's session. But so far, things are positive, things are bullish, and the dip buyers showing up and buying up those dips, even though those are small, tiny dips that we are seeing in the market. So going into next week, SPY ETF, that 669 key line in the sand. Below that, 667 to 665. And then we can talk about maybe touching and meeting the 20-day moving average right here at 661 to 660, right down here before heading down to this next level, 654. To the upside, we get over this previous high or even over this candle 670. It'll run back up to 672.68, and from there it can go much higher, but this Bollinger Band has to expand. You can see it's sitting at 673ish. It has to expand even more, and the market, I think it needs to come down a little bit. You can see RSI is still to the point where it's bit overbought at this point. So things will cool off at some point. Usually we see some sort of a retracement pullback in the market in month of September, but this month was extremely bullish. We'll see how that plays out. And now that we are in October, if the market pulls back a little bit or this slow grind continues and the market moves up even higher. Triple Q also hitting a brand new all-time high, 607, and then backing off. You can see 603 holding right on top of this 5-day moving average, barely holding 602.25. So, giving the benefit of the doubt, I would say bulls are still holding above the rising 5-day moving average, but 602 breaks and then flat 600 gives up. There might be a quick trip all the way down to 693 to the 20-day moving average, and then maybe even down to this low down here, 588 to 584. To the upside, that 607 breaks, definitely heading higher back up to 610 right here. And this one, Bollinger Band has room. I mean, it's sitting at 610 plus. So if he wants to go, he can definitely get up to 610 and possibly even a little bit higher right here on Triple Q. And here's my X account, and if you guys are on there, definitely give me a follow. And here's a fantastic trade from Friday, even though a lot of the things were not actually moving. Right here on Google, you can see it was down early in the morning at 9:41 a.m. We took 245 calls, and fast forward just after a couple of hours at 1:35 p.m. And even later on, it was at 1:46 going deep in the money, over the money. We took profit on that play. So if you guys are really serious about trading and you want to do this full time, you want to learn, definitely check out my link down in the description for Patreon. And trust me when I say this is worth every penny, especially people that are serious about trading and they want to do this full time. Dow Jones also hitting a brand new all-time high, 470.38, and then backed off, came back. And if you look at my screen, things are pretty much holding at 467 right here. That previous rejection now acting as a support. But if that gives up, easily can come down to 464.64. and that is where the 5-day moving average also sitting. So that's going to be a strong area of support to watch if there is a pullback down here going into Monday. And below that, it can come all the way down to 460 right here to this 20-day moving average. Now to the upside, if it breaks above 470 and holds, the next stop definitely 475 to 480, and it can definitely go up there. You can see the high volume on Friday, which is technically a bullish pattern, especially for Dow Jones. On IWM, it was up 0.74%. So you can see this one also heading 248 and then backing off and holding over where? Well, that 245 zone, right? There is a gap below 244. So, perhaps we see some sort of a retracement back down to 244 and then moving back up to 248 plus. We'll see how that plays out on IWM next week. But so far, there is a gap that opened up recently on Friday. It's right here at 244, but if that gives up, we do not hold here, then it's coming down to 240, and it can go much, much lower, possibly down to this trend line, which is at 237, 238. To the upside, if it stays over 245, heading back up to 250 plus, and that's where it's going if this thing can hold at 245. So VIX, not too much to talk about here. On VIX, you can see just consolidating back and forth. A lot of chop. Bollinger Bands are squeezing. But if this thing can actually remain over 16 bucks and gets that breakout at some point over 18, it can push up to 20 plus at some point, and that's going to trigger, at least a decent sell-off here in this market. We need to talk about dollar also. Since that breakout here on dollar, you can see this thing is just holding up, coiling up here, a bull flag pattern after that breakout right here. And now we just have to see if we can take out this 98.63 here on dollar, definitely going back up to 100 plus, and that would put pressure on S&P 500. Quickly, I want to look at gold as well, because this thing just pumping up pretty much every day. And again, you can see, I mean, not much to say to the downside, especially on Friday. 76.69, it was holding the 5-day moving average, went back up to 77, and the previous day on Thursday hitting a brand new all-time high right here, 78.32. So if the goal is pushing higher, obviously there is something wrong behind the scenes. We're just not seeing that. The economy, whatever you want to call it, job numbers and all that, inflation. Because things are not lining up. We can't have gold, going up at the same time you're seeing S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 hitting all-time high, and the dollar breaking out. So things are kind of, where you're seeing everything, but nobody wants to believe. So that's why you got to be really careful, especially opening up any long position here in this market, especially when a market is sitting near all-time highs. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. And I'll be making that big mega cap stock update video a little bit later on. So keep an eye out for that, and definitely will continue to do that for you guys, on the next video.